I think the biggest name so far to come out is Jennifer Lopez. What did she know? When did she know it? Unless there's a change in circumstances. Oh, that's right. You don't like jail, and you're making friends with cockroaches. So is that your change in circumstances? The fact that you're living in a hellhole called jail and you're secluded and it sucks? Welcome to jail. That's what jail's all about.
The recent fallout from Diddy's arrest has sent shockwaves through Hollywood, with new reports hinting that arrest warrants have been issued for several celebrities allegedly linked to his criminal activities. The investigation into Diddy's parties has widened, and sources suggest that up to 7 high-profile figures could now be facing charges. This list reportedly includes major stars such as Jay-Z and Jennifer Lopez, adding even more intrigue to an already sensational case.
So, absent a change in circumstances, the new judge isn't going to rule on it, despite the fact that there's a new lawyer on the case. They've got some death penalty lawyer. It's not a death penalty type case, but they've got a lawyer with death penalty experience just because, I don't know, they may need some more talent, because guess what happens when you're sitting in jail? You start to question things. Is my lawyer doing everything my lawyer can do? Just because the lawyer didn't get him out of jail doesn't mean that he's not doing everything he can do. The case is the type of case where you're going to sit and you're not treated differently because you're Pete Diddler calm. I mean, you're not. So we got a new judge, a new attempt at trying to get out, which is not going to work. A judge is not going to overrule his buddy judge. It's just not going to happen. We got a new lawyer on the case because he's not getting out. So let's try something different, is what his theory is. And the jail conditions, he's probably just sitting in his cell, 6x8 cell, and just riding around on the back of a cockroach. And it's boring. I mean, and the conditions aren't the greatest.
Jennifer Lopez's connection to Diddy has come back into the spotlight as both her personal and professional ties to the music mogul are now under scrutiny. Lopez, who dated Diddy in the early 2000s, has been linked to several events at his infamous parties. Although there is no confirmation of her involvement in any illegal activities, her name appearing on the arrest warrant list has sparked a media frenzy. Legal experts suggest that Lopez might be called to testify, especially considering her past association with Diddy during a 1999 nightclub shooting incident.
All Jennifer Lopez had to do was marry a white boy, Oscar winner, for people to stop remembering that she had a gun in her pocketbook. She had gunshot residue on her hands the night that Natanya was shot at that club. Not once has she spoken up for the betterment of that woman or say something in her defense to stop Puffy from gaslighting her and trying to put hits out on her because he was afraid that maybe one day they would open the case and she still has the bullet fragments in her face. Like J-Lo has said nothing. You really thought that just running off and marrying Ben Affleck was going to take you out of the Diddy downfall?
Was given tapes of Jennifer Lopez from Diddy raids by FBI.
But no, according to Suge Knight.
The tape showed J-Lo's involvement in 1999 shooting, Knight says. I mean, whether Suge Knight said that is immaterial. Really, but I do question, Jennifer Lopez, because she was with and engaged to the Diddler, wasn't she? I mean, back in the day? How are you that close to somebody where you're not aware of some of the shit's going on? I'd be shocked if she didn't know. So you count on her to be a witness for the prosecution. She's trying to stay as far away from this as possible. And I don't know that I would, hold the candle up to what Suge Knight has to say.
And the big connection here is that the 99 significance is in relation to that 1999 club shooting that he was involved in, where a bunch of people died, and she was there. And so that's what they were talking about, is she was a witness was his statement. They go raid Puffy's house and they get all these videos of J-Lo doing this and J-Lo doing that. He said, recalling her involvement in the 1999 nightclub shooting where Moses Shine Barrow took the fall for the music mogul. And they know the fact that J-Lo lied and said the gun was Shine's or whatever and sent that man to prison and destroyed his life. And they said they knew it was
some of these stories because I think it's important to point this out. When you highlight and you talk about some of the charges that have been leveled against him and you see some of the stuff that's being said about him. Look at this right here. Former Danity Kane singer Aubrey O'Day writes, "I never thought I would see this day," she told TMZ. "We all buried this inside of us in order to be able to keep going. And not just me, but victims you don't even know yet. We're all processing what that type of vindication can actually feel like now. Every conversation I've had with victims last night has been beyond moving on all levels." That was Aubrey O'Day. You know 50 Cent was gonna make sure his voice was heard. Clowning P. Diddy. Taunting him basically, because he's long taunted P. Diddy for years over the harrowing allegations against him. And what does he say here? This is yesterday, 50 Cent. "Here I am, keeping good company with the Drew Barrymore TV show. And I don't have 1,000 bottles of lube at the house." 50 Cent was referencing the over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and personal lubricants for the freak-offs that the indictment revealed were allegedly found during the raid of Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami back in March.
There's really no deal that the U.S. Attorney's Office can offer, and it's certainly not one that Diddy will accept. It would involve decades in federal prison. We're talking about mandatory minimum sentences of 10 years for both the drug charges and the sex trafficking. So we know that Diddy has fought charges before. There were state charges, there were gun-related, the nightclub shooting with J-Lo, but he's going to dig in his heels, and this case is going to trial. So if you're prosecutors, you really want to make sure that your evidence is bulletproof before you go down that.
Stephen A. Smith has weighed in, hinting that Diddy may not be the only one facing serious charges. Smith suggested that the magnitude of the accusations indicates that several other prominent figures could be involved as well. His remarks lend credibility to the growing rumors about additional celebrities being connected to Diddy's underground events. As Smith noted, if more names continue to emerge, the repercussions could reach far beyond the hip-hop community.
She is not wrong. Listen to this.
I now hold the opinion that Kim Kardashian is a prostitute, and I'm not going to edit this opinion. Kim Kardashian is a prostitute. Her mother is a pimp. Worse than a prostitute, Kim Kardashian is a corpse. She's a body without a soul. She is so emblematic of the society that we live in today, that if you are willing to degrade yourself, if you are willing to denigrate yourself, then our society, our American society will give you more, right? How much are you willing to show us of your body? How much are you willing to give us of your daughter's body? That is the price of fame, and she did it. This is where we're at. This is why we tell you not to follow the Hollywood type. This is why you should not allow your children to idolize Hollywood. These are not the people that we should be following.
I had heard of this Jaguar right before, but the things she was saying seemed so outlandish that I just dismissed it as conspiracy theories. I have to hold space for the possibility that, well, maybe it is true. I just can't fathom like Beyonce being a criminal and like knowingly doing harm and keeping things like it's so hard to.
So as you guys know, right now, because Diddy's arrested, a bunch of these Kardashian clips are once again going viral. It has to do with Khloe, Courtney, they're talking about Diddy parties, you name it. Well, there's even a little bit more that I don't think I covered. This is from The Sun. Here we go. So at the time, Khloe told her sister Courtney that she had spent the night partying with a string of famous faces. She said that I got on a plane at 5:30 in the morning. Well, this party, I think half the people there were butt naked. You would have loved it. But we then turned to her co-star, Kaja, I don't know how to say it, and said, have you met Khloe's new crew of friends? To which she replied, yes. Yeah, I don't think I covered that, so oh my goodness. Also, I want to point this out. when you guys watch the Kardashian clips where they're talking about these Diddy parties and you really like watch them, you can tell it's almost like they knew it was weird or bizarre or shocking, right? So like Khloe said something along the lines like, oh, Courtney, did you like the party? And Courtney's like, yeah. And then they talk about it and then Khloe's like, you loved it? Like, I don't know. It just seems weird to be talking about a party because usually when you go to a party, everyone's like, yeah, the party was sick. It was great. It was a good time. But like how they're talking about it just even seems off, bro. I'm just saying. Who knows, man?
Hollywood insider Jason Lee has revealed that he witnessed many influential figures at Diddy's infamous parties. Lee's remarks have fueled suspicions that Diddy's gatherings attracted more than just casual partygoers, hinting that these events often involved risky and potentially illegal activities. As more footage and evidence continue to surface, the complete picture of who attended and participated might soon be unveiled, putting increasing pressure on those who have so far stayed silent.
I know if things can get any crazier. If this girl start talking, it can be the end of P. Diddy. Not this girl, this girl. So if you have not heard, Kim Kardashian allegedly had some videotapes and audio tapes that was actually recovered in the raid at P. Diddy's home. So Kim Kardashian allegedly has been on high-profile individuals to gain access to confidential information such as documents and top-secret information on weapons. Y'all gotta look at this. Look at this.
Closing in on Kim Kardashian. The FBI investigation, initially a tremor threatening her carefully constructed image, has morphed into a full-blown earthquake threatening to engulf her entire empire. Leaked information paints a picture of a woman who allegedly used a seductive facade to mask a ruthless ambition, wielding stolen documents and secrets like weapons. Kim Kardashian has found herself at the center of a sensational scandal, with federal authorities uncovering a shocking plot allegedly orchestrated by the reality TV star. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, has disclosed disturbing details, accusing Kardashian of a scheme involving drugging high-profile men in order to pilfer crucial documents for personal enrichment and blackmail purposes.
He did end up losing his cool at the party because while he was on the dance floor with Beyonce, he snatched a person's phone for trying to record her. Now, Beyonce was busy dancing and bouncing around, and she was interacting with Kelly Rowland and Saweetie, so she wasn't paying attention, but there was somebody trying to sneak a video of her, and Jay-Z wasn't here for it. He snatched that phone out of that man's hand and said, "Come on, man, what are you doing?" Now, some people may have thought Jay-Z overreacted, but people have to learn how to respect other people's boundaries. Just because Beyonce is a celebrity does not mean that it's okay to invade her personal space and record her without her permission. Now, granted, this is a party where a lot of people have their phones out, and celebrities like Beyonce and Jay-Z can't expect everybody to put their phone away because that's not realistic. When they walk into the room, people will try to record them. But in this situation, I do think the guy was doing too much. It seemed like he was filming Beyonce without her permission, and Jay-Z snatched his phone out of his hand. But that wasn't too smart on Jay-Z's part because that guy could try to sue him. Jay-Z did snatch that phone rather aggressively, so if the guy is petty enough, he could probably take some legal action. Now, Beyonce almost lost her cool as well because somebody was recording her and her cousin Angie tapped her and she looked around like she was really aggravated. Beyonce was polite about it, but she did raise her hand and one of her people flashed the light at the camera to make them stop recording. So Beyonce was not here for people filming her without her permission.
And people with foolishness and people with malcontent, but we are sifting through that and trying to make sure that we identify and vet people that have real claims, legitimate, credible claims. Right now, we're talking about 120 people from 25 different states for conduct that occurred over 25 years.
25 different states? Is that what you said? Not cities. You said 25 different states.
Yeah. Because, a lot of these parties obviously took place in Los Angeles, New York, Manhattan, or the Hamptons, and Miami. And a lot of these people were flown in. And this wasn't a secret. I mean, it was known that people were being flown in for these parties. People were being paid cash to attend these parties. People were being identified at clubs or at concerts or on the street even, and invited to these parties. So you have that group of people that are involved. And then you have another group, and maybe this is the more sinister situation where, you know, young people with stars in their eyes wanting to break into the entertainment industry with promises of stardom, who are taken advantage of, in some cases allegedly drugged and abused, and basically just left behind, with shame.
Increasing complexity of the case, a new judge has been assigned to oversee Diddy's legal proceedings. This appointment comes as federal prosecutors gear up to handle an expanding list of defendants, which includes several high-profile names. The decision underscores the gravity of the situation, with the possibility of an even broader investigation looming. Many celebrities linked to Diddy's parties are said to be in a state of panic as arrest warrants and subpoena subpoenas. Rumors of secret tapes containing compromising footage of stars like Jay-Z and Kim Kardashian have only intensified the scandal, sending shockwaves through Hollywood.
Kim Porter's book says Kim had tapes of Diddy having relations, air quotes, with Jay-Z, Will Smith, and others. Okay, so I told you guys yesterday, and I played a couple of little clips from his interview, but I told you that I was going to sit down and watch the whole thing and come back and talk to you guys about it. So it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. I watched it for you guys so you wouldn't have to, okay? Now, there's a lot of things that this guy is saying that I don't believe when it comes to him and this flash drive that he has. He claims that Kim Porter's friends gave him a flash drive, and that's where he got the book idea and the stuff to write this book that he's put out on Amazon, that Amazon now has taken back, okay? But although that he is saying some things that just seem very far-fetched and untrue because he hasn't proven it, people are saying there's a lot of things that can be true, and he is saying that he is actually going to produce, finally, the evidence. So for people like me who don't believe him, or maybe believe some things and don't believe, he's saying that if it comes to it and he's pushed to litigation, that he is going to prove the fact that he does have this flash drive. And on these flash drive, there are tapes with Will Smith and Jay-Z and others. He said, and I'm going to play the clip for you in a second, he says, Will Smith and Jay-Z can be bisexuals. Actually, you know what? Let me not even paraphrase this guy. I'm gonna just play the clip. Listen to what he says about Will Smith and Jay-Z and about them being
celebrities, including Jay-Z, have reportedly gone into hiding after the FBI issued warrants to search their properties. An attorney involved in Diddy's case has allegedly reviewed incriminating footage that features several high-profile figures, some even more influential than Diddy himself. These tapes are said to contain compromising activities recorded at Diddy's infamous parties, potentially implicating major stars in the illegal events now under investigation.
As if you didn't need another reason to dislike Will Smith, well, after watching this video, and mind you, it is a little disturbing, so please keep that in mind. Jaden says his mother sold him to Diddy, just like Usher handed Justin over to Diddy, and he had to attend those so-called camps, and they did the same thing to him that they did to Justin. So his mother actually forced him into these horrible acts. Also, Will and Jada used Jaden for their own freak-off parties, and Jaguar Wright said young men have actually ran screaming out of their house just to get away from them. So she did say that they do really weird things in that house. Also, Will, his assistant, he actually walked in on Will having schmegs with another man. Also, Jada introduced Jaden to some altering pills, and the fact that she had schmeg with one of his friends for 4 years. And guess what? Will didn't mind because he was batting for the other team and having affairs with young men that were in the industry under the guise of mentorship. And he used that to manipulate all of them. This is so disturbing, I can't even tell you how sad I feel for Jaden. Also for what they have put him through. His life probably would have ended up differently. So if they had just freaking been normal. And Jaden, he emancipated from his parents when he was 16, and he refused to even come back to do family interviews. So I just hope that one day both him and Justin get the help that they need and can move on from all of this. I'm Kina, and that's my perspective.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.
Turn himself in. 1, 2, 3.
A day earlier, Combs seen out and about in New York with his family, seemingly in good spirits. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges. At the center of the case, this 2016 video obtained by CNN that depicts Combs attacking his then-girlfriend, the singer Cassie, and then dragging her back toward a hotel room. Federal prosecutors said the video is powerful evidence of how dangerous the hip-hop mogul could be to women, part of why 2 different federal judges denied him bail.
This has to be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous and then going into this very dark, impersonal, cold, austere facility.
Combs, who lived in this $50 million Miami mansion, is now in an isolated unit.